Hi, my name is Ashley Kuntz, and when I was 13 years old, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. The winter break of my 8th grade year, I began experiencing numbness throughout my left arm, and I went to my mother, and she thought I was just sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Who wouldn't? So after a while, the numbness began to spread farther down my body, and we had no idea what was going on. So my mother took me to my doctor, and my doctor didn't know what was going on either, so she referred me to a neurologist. And after a spinal tap and an MRI, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. At that time, I really was in denial about my sickness. My motto was ignorance is bliss. My mother would try to come to me with more information about multiple sclerosis, but I didn't want anything to do with it. And my friends were pretty much the same way. They kind of felt unsure about being around me, especially since by that time in my life, half my body was numb, straight down the middle. And when I would smile, like one end would go up, the other end go down. It really wasn't that good of a deal. Also, I was an honor student, and I kept on thinking that I wouldn't have a good quality of life. But after I changed my perception of what MS would do to me, I began looking at colleges. Plus, my parents wouldn't let me not go to college anyway. It was always in the game plan. When I started looking at colleges, I started looking at the different disability programs and what would be best for me. Also, I was very happy when I found out the MS Society had a scholarship that also helped me go to college. So right now I'm in college at UNC Chapel Hill, and I'm doing the best I can. I did have a little trouble last year. My MS started bothering me because it follows my emotions. When I think about the future with MS, I feel like I have a timeline. I feel like I may not always have the activity of my limbs, and I'm very blessed with that right now. But I also feel like it's my mission to help people realize that they need to appreciate their lives. I know one reason I'm in college right now to become a teacher, and I hope that I express to my students the way that I feel every day. Like, I'm blessed to live and get up and just be able to move around, because a lot of people with MS aren't able to do that. And I hope that they will someday just have appreciation for life that MS has given me.
In 2004, my mother became seriously ill with what was ultimately diagnosed as multiple sclerosis. MS manifests differently in every patient, and my mother was affected particularly severely with cognitive and emotional symptoms such as memory loss, drastic personality changes, and major depression. At times, she seemed like an entirely different person than the mother I had known all my life, going into a rage and searching for anything in the house she thought she could throw and break. There were also multiple suicide attempts that forced me to act quickly to save her life. As if these symptoms weren't enough for my family to deal with, my mother's employer reacted to the onset of her illness by terminating her employment, sending us into a dramatic downward spiral financially. In the course of a few months, we lost literally everything. Our utilities were turned off, and we began living like vagrants in our own house. From there, we graduated to living in a tent after the bank foreclosed on our home. That was really hard. It was very cold, and since we had no water, I had to go to school every day smelling like smoke from our campfire. Needless to say, living through these circumstances has not been easy, and it's especially been a struggle to maintain acceptable grades in school when everything in my life outside of school seemed like chaos. Yet things have begun to steadily improve since our return to North Carolina. My mother is still sick, of course. Her illness gets progressively worse over time, but at least she's receiving good medical treatment now. Life has been tough during the last 6 years, and at times even traumatic. I truly believe, though, that I'm a better person for it. I've learned at a very young age to never, ever give up, regardless of how bad things get, because as long as there is life, there's always hope. These hard hard-learned lessons make me determined to be the first person in my family to obtain a college degree. And I hope that the colleges I am applying to will look past the challenges I've faced in life, seeing instead my great potential for the future. January 2011. 4 weeks ago, my world collapsed again when my mother died very unexpectedly, but I'm determined to persevere in her honor.